Hello, friends of Sudoku, and welcome to a Sudoku.com expert puzzle. You know the rules. Just fill in the numbers 1 through 9, and everything is fine. Unless, of course, it's not fine because we can't figure out how to do it. This, as I said, is an expert puzzle, and not all expert puzzles are created equal. Some are more difficult than others. We'll have to wait and see how this one goes. I can see immediately that there is a 2 blocking up here, and there's a 2 and a 2 here blocking across here. So this is a 2. And now one of these will have to be a 2 because we have a 2 already accounted for in columns 5 and 6. So we are off to a start. A 1, 2, and a 4 must find homes in these 3 squares. There's 4 already blocking this square. Therefore, one of these will have to be a 4, and therefore one of these 2 will have to be a 4. And of course, the 1 must go here or here. We already have the 2. And speaking of 2's, this 2 and this 2 block these 4 cells here, and the 2 here blocks these 2. Therefore, this must be a 2. And now one of these must be a 2, right? And I'm also looking at these two 2's here. They force a 2 to go in the exact same rows, namely rows 7 and 9. So we've got these 2's here forcing a 2 to go here or here. We got these 2's here forcing a 2 to go here and here. So none of these 4 squares can be a 2. And this 2 blocks this square. So the only place in this row 8 that we can enter a 2 is here. This 4 forces a 4 to go here or here. So a ghost 4 here and a 4 here. And this 4 here now forces a 4 into this square here. And one of these 2 squares must be a 4. The 7 blocks up here, right? And the 7 blocks across here, making this a 7. And now, along with a 4, a 7 must go in these 2 cells here because we got a 7 and a 4 blocking here. And we've got a 7 blocking up here. Therefore, this must be a 7 and this must be a 4. So far, we are looking pretty good. Let's see if that continues. This column still needs a 3, 5, and a 6. There's a 6 here, so one of these must be a 6. There's a 5 here, so one of these must be a 5. And a 3 can basically go anywhere. So instead, I want to focus on these 3 squares, and they have to be a 5, 8, and a 3. So an 8 here makes one of these an 8, and an 8 here makes one of these an 8. So one of these 2 must now be an 8, right? There's a 5 going up here, and there's a 5 going up here. So in theory, one of these 2 could be a 5, right? Except we know that one of these 2 must be a 5, and therefore this is where the 5 goes. And now a 5 will go into any of these, or I should say rather, into one of these 3 cells here. Together, by the way, with an 8, because an 8 must go here or here, as we've just found out. The 6 blocks across here, so one of these must be a 6. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this column 6 here. One will have to go here or here, and we know that one of these will be a 6. The 3 can't go, the 3 must go here or in any of these 3 cells. Now this is not very scientific, so I'm going to wait a second before I continue with that discussion with myself. Got the 5 going down here and the 5 going across here, making one of these a 5, and therefore one of these 3 must be a 5. And we already know that one of these 3 must be a 5. And we know that one of these 3 must be a 5. That's kind of like a swordfish arrangement. But since we have got 5s everywhere else, it seems it doesn't really help me. But I could try and pull myself together and look at these 2 9s blocking these 3 cells, and the 9 going across blocking this cell, making this an easy 9 to be found, right? And now one of these must be a 9. So a 3 and a 5 here blocking here makes these 3 squares at least a 3 and a 5. And that leaves a 4 and a 6, doesn't it? Well, let's see. There's a 4 going down here, and there's a 4 going over here. So one of these is a 4, and therefore one of these is a 4. Aha. And we've got the 2 4s going down here, and therefore we know that in addition to the 3 and the 5, the 4 will join the merry couple of the 3 and the 5 here, and that makes this a 6. Yes, and that makes this a 6. That was a nice little piece of logic, I think. These 2 squares now must be a 3 and a 5. Row 8 needs 1, 4, 8, and a 9. Look at this. There's a 4 and an 8 and a 9 blocking this cell. Therefore, this must be a 1. Now that we have this one here blocking this square, and we've got these 2 ones blocking these 3 squares, this is going to be a 1. And now one of these must be a 1. And we have a 1 here and a 1 here blocking these 5 squares, and we have a 1 coming down blocking this square, so this is a 1. And these 2 ones now force a 1 to go here, and that must give me a 1 over here, mustn't it? Yes, here and here. And that looks to be it for the ones for this grid. Now the 4 blocks over here, and this is a 1, so it can't be a 4 anymore. Therefore, one of these must be a 4. And we also have the 4 up here, so these 2 cells are now blocked by 4s, making this a 4. And these are now a 3 and a 5. This is also a 3 and a 5. So these 2 have to be a 3 and a 8. That kind of escapes me right now. I'm sure we'll get around to it. A 4, 8, and a 9 for these 3 cells. These can't be 4, so a 4 must go here or here. But this could be a 4, yes, and it could also be an 8, and a 9 could go here and here. So no, I'm not going to touch that right now. Let's look at this column here, a 3, 6, 7, and a 9. Well, 7 and a 9 here, this is a 3, 6. There's a 7 here. No, better not touch that. What about across here? 3, 4, 6, and a 7. There's a 4 here and 4 here. No, 7. Doesn't look like something I should touch just yet. It's clear that 8 will have to go here or here. And also here or here. We've been over this before, but I'm looking at what to do with the 5s. There's a 5 going here or here and up here, and therefore here, here, and here. So eight and 5, that still leaves a 6, 3, and a 9, doesn't it? A 6 must go here or here. We've also been over that before. Now I don't see it, but I see something else, I think. This is a 3 and a 5. I think we can agree on that. And therefore, I still need 2, 6, and an 8 for these 3 cells. And there's a 8 and a 2 in this column. So this has got to be a 6. And this is now a 2, 8, and this is a 2, 8. What about the 6s now? The 6 goes up here, and the 6 comes over here. So one of these is a 6, and therefore this cannot be a 6 anymore. And the 6 must therefore go here. And we know that these are 3, 5, and an 8, and therefore this must be a 9. Yes. And now we got these 2 9s blocking these 2 cells, and we got the 9 coming over blocking this. So this is a 9. And now one of these must be a 9. What about these 2 squares? They have to be a 3 and a 7. Nothing much I can do about that, but now at least I know, because of the 3 going up here, that one of these will have to be a 3 and one of these will have to be a 3. But we have now restricted the possibilities for a 6 in this block here, because this 6 blocks here and this 6 blocks here, making this a 6. And that, of course, makes this a 6. Finally, one of these must be a 6 now. These 2 squares have got to be an 8 and a 3. And therefore, these 2 must be a 2 and a 7. We have a 7 in this row, so that must be a 2 and this must be a 7. And that makes this a 7, of course. This lonely cell has got to be a 3, and we got a 3 here blocking here, and we got a 3 blocking here, so this has got to be a 3. And these 2 must be an 8 and a 4. There's an 8 in the row, so this is a 4 and this is an 8. I think we have cracked it, more or less. This must be a 4, and this has got to be a 9. So we got a 9 up here. We got these 2 9s across, making this a 9, and that makes this a 9. This is now a 5, and it cannot be a 5. Therefore, the 5 must go here, and the other digit is a 3. That makes this a 3 and this an 8. If memory serves, and I think it serves, these 2 here must be a 6 and a 2. We have a 2 in the column. Therefore, the 2 goes here and the 6 here. And this has got to be an 8, of course, making this an 8 and this a 5. The 5 blocks down here and the 5 blocks over here. And this 5 blocks across here, making this a 5. And these two now have to be an 8 and a 7. We have a 7 in the ninth column, so this is an 8 and this is a 7. And this 7 blocks over here, this 7 blocks down here, so this is a 7. This last digit has got to be a 3, making this a 3 and this a 3 and this a 5. This is now a 3 and this must be a 5, making this the final 8. And that would make this a 4. And therefore this is a 4 and this must be a 6. That was quite nice and I enjoyed it. I thought it would be more difficult, but there you are. I hope that you also enjoyed it and that you will come back for more soon. Thank you for watching and bye for now.